Hey guys, and welcome to another one of my videos. Today I am drawing fairies, and some of these fairies are honestly kind of some practice fairies. I think I could have done better in some of them, but here we go. First one is from Luna Valentine Art. This is a Draw This in Your Own Style contest that she came up with. I thought the original was super cute, so I wanted to draw her. I was also kind of on a fairy kick anyway, so I had this envision of drawing my fairy, her version of my fairy, with a leaf over her head, and she was holding on to this big leaf, and I just was like, that's what I want to draw, especially with this picture. That's what I want to draw. With this piece, kind of what I was working on was really proportions, like proportions of her arm to her face, her head, and also the wings. So I really wanted to kind of create like a sunny day with the leaf over her head and she's happy, and I think I did a really good job with this piece doing that. The sketching seemed to just happen effortlessly. I felt like it just all lined up and went into place. I did think it was kind of strange. Her wings, I guess, have this eyeball looking thing in them, but I was like, okay, I guess I'll draw that too. Also, I'm not a huge fan in general of drawing see-through clothing. I don't mind it. It's just not my favorite. To me, it takes a little bit more effort to make sure that it looks see-through and that it's not just clothing that goes over the top of the skin, or it doesn't look, I don't know, it doesn't look off. So I do have to say that's probably something that's like not my favorite to draw in general, but I mean, in this piece, it was all right. Now, she has a little moon over her head, and as I was drawing, I did make her glasses a little bit too big, and it kind of covers up her moon a little bit. So if I were to have drawn this again, I probably would have lifted her hair, made her bangs a little bit shorter, and lifted the moon a little bit higher. That way you could have seen it. But I stuck with it after I already sketched it out. I just stuck with it because I had done the sketch and then I realized she had the little moon, and so I added the moon kind of as a last minute thought. So that's kind of why it looks like that. I also wanted to add a little cute dragonfly. I thought it kind of filled out the picture a little bit more than just her with the leaf, and I really liked how I drew the little dragonfly. Also, something I wanted to note with this picture is I wanted to stay pretty true to her color scheme, because I wanted to, you know, stay as close to what she had for colors. Sometimes I don't really do this, but this time I really wanted to. I liked how she had really light pastel colors, and I really wanted to stick to that. So as you can see here in a little bit, I did use her picture as a reference for just the colors. I mean, I used it to draw her too, but I'm saying, as you can see, I will dip and use the colors that she used in the original picture. I tried to stay as true to the wings as I could. I added a little bit of a darker hue to some of the wings and then lighter in others, but I think it stayed pretty close to what she had. And then also the color of her hair, I stayed pretty true to that, and the color of her skin. One of the reasons that I got into doing digital art, and one of the reasons that I wanted to start posting art in general, is because I was really excited drawing fantasy art. So drawing fantasy with fairies is like a no-brainer, because I've always wanted to draw really pretty fairies and unicorns, and so fairies are pretty much up there with my fantasy drawings. So I want to get better at drawing fairies, but also being able to see the compositions really well. The wings kind of do take up a piece of the image, so just drawing these actually helps me in my memory and getting better at drawing fairies in general and having the wings within the picture. I want to be able to draw angels too, and angels also typically take up a lot of space with their wings. So figuring out what compositions work and which ones don't work as well, I think this was a really good picture for that. So I will say some pros and cons to this picture that you guys will see here in a second that I completed. The pros are, I actually am happy with the colors. I really like how bright and how happy it looked. The only con that I realized is I didn't really like how the line art just was so dark compared to the light pastel colors, and I think that I just really wanted to change that. I decided to draw my own fairy and kind of adjust a little bit of that. So when I see something I don't like, sometimes I will correct it in the second drawing. So I decided to draw a second fairy. This one is not attached to any draw this in your own style. This one is just kind of a free-for-all drawing. I wanted to just draw my own thing and kind of run with it. And I do this every now and then, I guess, because there are times I just will draw my own characters, or I will draw, like I drew a cat plant one time as an idea, and it was kind of all, yes, it was someone else's idea, but I drew it as the entire image as my idea. But I think these pieces help me see how far I've come while looking at other references. This one I did look at a reference, sort of, just at the angles of the face, but other than that, all of this is pretty much from memory. Most of it is pretty much from memory. So again, this just helps me visualize and see how far I've come in my own art. Also, what y'all are about to see with this piece is I did a little bit experimenting of my own with this piece as well, and some of the experimenting was mostly with the wings, and you'll see that here in just a second. I colored the wings with different colors, gave it different lines, make it swirl, added swirls, gave it circles and lines, and then what I did was I Gaussian blurred it, and you'll see all this here in a second, and then I took white lines and I colored the white lines into the wings and then added a chromatic aberration. And this just gives it a sort of effect to the wings that make it look kind of see-through, I guess kind of oily. I don't know if that's really the right term, but you guys will see here in a second. That was probably the biggest experiment that I had with this drawing, was drawing on the wings and learning how to draw kind of dragonfly looking wings. And so I kind of wanted to go into the pros and cons of this piece that I did as well. One big pro is I was really happy with the line art in general, and then I was really happy with the coloring and how the colors turned out. Some of the pet peeves that I have with it is I didn't really like her bangs. I feel like I typically will draw these kind of straight looking bangs, and I don't think they look as great, and if I were to go back and do it all over, I'd probably change her bangs. Another kind of pet peeve that I had of this picture, so look here for 1 second, you can see the wings. The wings have that kind of oily look, which I think turned out really, really cool. As far as like the picture really pops, it makes it look great. So I will probably use this effect in the future when it comes to other fairies. I think it just turned out really well. Anyway, so the other pet peeve that I have of this picture is her outfit has, I wanted to do like leaves around where her chest were, and I just don't think it turned out very good. I mean, don't stare at it too hard, because I don't think it really turned out very good at all. However, I think I learned something with this, and I think it just taught me to take more time with certain details, because I struggle with certain details and being detail oriented in some things, and this is something I feel like being detail oriented is good. Overall, I'll say I give this picture probably a 8 out of 10. I think I learned a lot. I think majority of the picture looks great. I think there's a few things I could have fixed. I think that I could have fixed her head a little bit better. I could have changed the bangs, and I could have changed her outfit. But other than that, I think it turned out pretty well. I think as a whole, it looks good. Everything is a learning process, and that's how I'm taking all my art pieces, is I'm learning something new and I'm gonna take it and just run with it. I hope you guys liked this video. I hope you guys liked my fairies today. If you like this video and want to see my future progress, please like and subscribe. Tell me what you think, because I do want to hear your opinion. And guys, don't stop creating.